Okay, we're going to continue category 4 of Algebra 1, which is focusing on quadratics. I'm going to start you off with a key feature ones. Go ahead and solve this question. Remember, it's 2 correct answers. The graph of the quadratic function is shown. Which value best represents the zeros? So what does 0 represent? Correct. The x-intercepts. So first things first, how many solutions does this problem have? 2. So I should have 1, 2. -1 and 3. -1 and +3. These are my solutions. A couple other times they like to say zeros, roots, and we know they are x-intercepts. All right, for the quadratic h of, remember this is just saying h of x equals 0, h of 5 equals 0. What is the possible equation in factored form? Move the correct answer to each box. So again, these are your solutions. So your solutions are -3/2 and 5 are your solutions. But the question is asking you to put them in factor form. So if we look at our notes, or even something related when we're doing factoring, you may be familiar with when we did this and you had your x method. So remember, as you do this, we have f of 1 over a, and that kind of helps us when we comes to our factor form. All right, so let's go back to the problem. So we know that it would be f1 over a. In this case, this would be f2 over a. So remember, solutions are the opposite of each other. Factors are the opposite of solution. So, but we need to put it in the form. So when we do this, it kind of look like this. You'll have an ax plus or minus your factor 1 times ax plus your factor 2. All right, so let's look at the first one. What would be your a value that you're going to replace it with? Okay, you're correct. It would be negative, well, it would be +2. It would be +2. What would be your f1 value? -3. -3. Because remember, these are your solutions. This was the factor form if we doing our x method. Then looking at this one, zoom out. Remember, it was 5, but remember we're going to put a 5 over 1 just to make it as a fraction. What would be our a value? 1. Our a value. What would be our factor 2? Factor 2 would be 5. So if we were to write this, it would be 2x minus 3, parentheses, x plus 5. X plus 5, 2x minus 3. Okay, give you a second to write down if you need be. All right. Let's move over to transformations. So I'm going to have my transformation sheets out, but I'm also going to tell you how to show you how to do this when you don't remember your rules. All right, it says the quadratic f of x is x squared is transformed to create g as shown in the graph. So again, f of x, I'm going to kind of shade it in a color or trace it over a color. Is my pink one. The transformed one is this one right here. Is this one right here. If I look at the pink one, the vertex is 0, 0. But if I looked at the transformed one, my vertex is -3, -2. My solutions are -4 and +2. -2, I'm sorry. So I am going to look at my answer choices. It says, what is the equation of G? Do not get confused by the f of x. This is just, I tell my students to rewrite it. We know that it's a quadratic, so all I'm going to say is going to be x plus 3 squared, because it's just telling me that it's a quadratic, minus 2. I want you guys to go ahead and do B, C, and D like that. Go ahead and just rewrite it so we could be able to plug it into decimals, because we're not going to be able to plug it into decimals with that F there. All right, so the second one, you should have gotten 2x plus 3 squared minus 2. Third one, you should have gotten x minus 3 squared plus 2. And then the last one, you should have got 2x minus 3 squared plus 2. Now, I have the equations rewritten. The only thing now I have to do is plug in those equations to figure out which one, when I plug them in, the vertex would be -3, 2. -3, 2. Let's go ahead and do that. First one was x plus 3 squared minus 2. Okay, I have -3, -2. Let's go back. Have -3. I'm sorry, it should have been -3, -2. So far, it's the first one, but let me just make sure none of them also follow. This one was 2. But what's different? I have to make sure the solutions are different. So my solutions should now be -4 and -2. So let's go back. Let's remove that 2. My solutions are, nope. My vertex was the same, but my solutions wasn't. Let's try it with 2. All right, -4 and -2. So the correct answer was B, but let's make sure. Let's go to the next equation. It was x minus 3 squared plus 2. Nope, completely off the wall. And then let's just add a 2 in front of it. Nope. So the correct answer was B. So you saw this mistake even Ms. Martineau made, that this one, it had the correct vertex, but the solutions were different. All right, so that's important that you don't just stop at just the vertex. All right, correct answer was B. All right, go ahead and do this problem. Go ahead and do this problem. All right, it says if f of x equals x squared, so remember you have your original, and now g of x is f of x plus 32. What is the vertex of g? So remember, the original is a quadratic. So remember, don't get confused by that. I'm just going to rewrite the equation as g of x is equal to x plus 7.2 squared. So now I need to see what is going to be the vertex of my function. Parentheses, x plus 7.2 squared. My vertex is negative 7.20. How many solutions does this one have? Yep, it only has one solution. So, correct answer is B. B, 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 B. All right. Now, this one, it says solving. So, it's so many ways we can do solving. We can do solving by graphing, factoring, quadratic. But anytime they actually give you just the graph, the equation, I'm sorry, you're plugging it in. They're asking for solutions. What did we say solutions mean? X-intercepts. So go ahead and plug the equation in and figure out what is the x-intercepts. All right, let's do it together. Three x squared minus 2x minus 5. Looking at the solutions, I have negative 1, and then I have 1.667. First thing I am looking at, wherever it says negative 1, boom, boom. Then I need to see which one is going to be 1.67. You have 5 over 3. Perfect. 5 over 3 is my second answer. All right. Go ahead and do this one. It's a tad bit spicy, but you can do it. All right, first things first. We need to put this equation in standard form, meaning it has to be equal to 0. We're not going to be able to plug it in just like this and find our x-intercepts. All right, so I need to move this 75. So how do I need to move this 75 on the opposite side to make it equal to 0? Correct. Subtract 75 from both sides. 75 from both sides. I do not have to distribute. I can literally leave it just like this. 5x plus 3 squared minus 75 is equal to 0. Here is where it gets a tad bit tricky, because my solutions are not like random numbers like 1, like regular rational numbers. But let's go ahead and plug this equation in. We have 5 parentheses x plus 3 squared minus 75. All right, so we have those weird numbers, but I'm going to write them down. So we have x equal negative negative 6.873. And we have x is equal to 0.873. All right, so let's first start with this one. So here, this just means that it's negative 3 over 5 plus square root of 15 and negative 3 over 5 minus square root of 15. All right, let's keep them both. Negative 3 over 5 plus square root of 15. It's not even giving me the first one. So I am going to go ahead and, it's not giving me one or the other. So I can go ahead and cross this one out. The next one is negative 3 over 5 square root of 3. Nope, it did not give me one or the other. I'm going to go ahead and cross this one out. The next one is -3 plus or minus square root of 8. Square root of 3. All right. Nope. Did not give it to me. Still didn't give it to me. Okay. Hopefully the last one is our answer. Yep. It looks about it. Or close to it. And then I am going to keep 15, but I'm going to change it to a plus. Looks very close. So the closest is D. All right, that is it for day 2. So we have covered all things related to quadratic functions. We just finished category 4.